There are businesses that need money, and there are lenders with money to lend. But here's the problem. Those two sides do not connect nearly as easily as you'd think. And that gap creates the opportunity. A business loan broker is the bridge between those two sides, and you get paid when that bridge works and a deal funds. In this video, I'm going to break down how that bridge becomes a massively profitable business. And in plain English, we'll talk through exactly what you do as a broker, how you get paid, how much you get paid, and what a realistic beginner path looks like so that you can start without guessing. I'm Shane Walton, co-founder of the Commercial Loan Broker Institute. We've helped launch and support hundreds of brokerages nationwide, and we maintain an active lender network that's used by brokers daily, placing their deals with capital sources. So what I'm about to walk through is how this industry is actually working today in the real world. What is happening to create income, what's killing income for brokers, and how beginners can get started in the right way. So here's what a business loan broker actually does. A business loan broker is an intermediary. You can think of it like a real estate broker. A real estate broker doesn't own the home that they're helping to sell. They don't fund the mortgage, but they do guide the transaction. They position the property correctly, and they get the whole thing to the finish line. Or think of an insurance broker. They don't create the insurance product or underwrite it, but they do help the client to navigate all of the multiple carriers and different options. And business loan broker is very similar. You help a business owner to figure out what financing will actually fit their needs. And then you help to connect them with the right capital source. And you guide that whole process so that the deal can get funded. Your job here isn't selling money. Your job is reducing friction between a real business who has a real need and a real capital source. You're the translator, you're the guide, the deal designer, the placement professional. And even though you're working here with large dollar amounts, this is a low-risk business model compared to most startup businesses. And that's what everyone's looking for, right? People want a business model that has massive upside potential, but without massive downside. And this is where brokerage is really fundamentally different from most startup business ideas. In a typical launch, you might have to take risks like buying inventory, leasing a building, hiring employees, running the payroll every month or every 2 weeks, managing refunds and customer service at scale. You have to spend heavily on your ads and your marketing before you have proof about what's working and what won't work. But in a brokerage model, early stage risk is much lower, more constrained, because you're not manufacturing anything. You're not warehousing anything. You're not fronting inventory. And most importantly, you're not lending out your own money. You're lending out other people's money. And your asset is the process. It's a way to diagnose the need, a way to match the right solution for that borrower, a way to package and present that deal clearly and in a compelling manner. It's a way to build relationships. And that's why this model is so attractive, because the barrier isn't massive cash investments. The barrier is competence. It's knowing what to do, how to do it, and being able to execute it cleanly and rapidly. So let's dive into exactly how brokers get paid in this model, what points are, and along the way, I'm going to provide some quick examples to make it all real. So here's how you actually get paid as a broker. Most brokers are paid when the deal funds. That's the moment that the money changes hands from lenders over to borrowers. And that's when the broker earns a fee. Who pays the broker? Well, sometimes the lender pays a fee, and sometimes the borrower pays a fee, and sometimes it's a combination. Because fundamentally, the broker is helping the borrower to find the capital, the lender to find a good client, so they're both getting value. And so often they'll both pay. But it really depends on the loan product and how you have it all structured. But either way, Broker compensation is most often expressed in points. And 1 point is 1% of the total funded amount. So if you hear 2 points on the deal, that means 2% of the funded amount. Let's use some examples. Suppose you provided a flexible working capital loan to a business. The loan amount was $150,000, but you have 4 points on it. So that's going to be 4% and work out to be $6,000 in commission. Or maybe you have a construction company that needs some new equipment. Let's say it's $500,000 in equipment financing. If you have 3 points on that project, that would be $15,000 in commission when the loan is funded and the equipment is purchased. Another common asset for business brokers to finance is real estate. If a client is purchasing a new office building or a warehouse, or let's say that it's a real estate investor who is purchasing a small apartment complex, right? And that apartment complex is 5 million and you have 1 point on the deal, you're going to get a commission check for 50,000. If you have 2 points on it, then the commission would be double and you'd get a $100,000 check. As you can see, the fees vary because every deal is a different size, every loan product, every lender is going to be a bit different. But your commission will usually be somewhere in the 1% to 10% range and will be calculated based on the amount of funding that you provide or you're sourcing for your client. And your income grows as you close more deals and close larger deals. But the key is always to just start on your first deal. And most brokers seem to really remember their first check, right? Sometimes it's just a few $1,000s, a $4,000 or $5,000 commission, but it flips a switch in their head and they realize this is real. And yes, there's going to be much bigger commission checks down the road for them, but there's some magic in that first one that lets you know, oh, this is a process I can repeat again and again here. How do you get to that first commission, especially when you're new in the industry? So let's cover the beginner safe ladder for entering this business. So you can start earning as a business loan broker without pretending that you're an expert in the field already and without risking your reputation. Because too many beginners fail because they are trying to jump to the highest rung of the ladder immediately. And they try to be a full broker without getting the full system in place first. And a smarter approach is to pick the right entry stage for your vision. Think of it like a ladder. Stage 1 is refer and earn. And this is really the simplest way to start. You identify a business with a real need and you connect them to a trusted broker and you get paid for the referral when the deal funds. It's fast, it's low friction, and it teaches you the first step in the game while you're earning along the way. You're developing your ability to speak with business owners and real estate investors. You're building trust, you're building your network, and you're getting leads in play along the way, and you're also earning some money. And at our institute, we support numerous brokerages. So we have a program where you can apply to do exactly this, refer opportunities to brokerages. And they'll be placed with an experienced brokerage, and then you get paid as soon as that deal funds. Stage 2 is where you team up to earn more. And this is where you're working closely with an established brokerage. You become a part of their team, typically as a 1099 contractor. You get support and you're practicing, learning the ropes, and you're doing more front-end work with lead generation still, but you're moving into loan assessment. You're running the initial discovery conversations, you're gathering key info, you're often working on collecting docs for the package, and you help to shape the request, but you have that more experienced partner that places it with the lender and closes it. And that's often one of the best models for beginners because you're learning and earning simultaneously, but you're earning more than if you just refer it out, but you're doing a bit more work, right? You're also building that competence, but you don't have to carry the deal entirely on your own from day one. And if you're already in this place and generating opportunities and looking for a good home for them, and you're looking for that team to work with, again, connect with our institute. We are always happy to make introductions and to support collaborations. And we know hundreds of brokerages, and we'd be happy to connect you with a reputable brokerage. And that brings us to stage 3, which is where you broker and earn. And this is the full model, right? You do the lead sourcing, the discovery, you package the deal, you place it with lenders, you manage it to close. And here you have a much higher upside. You also have much higher responsibility. There's no commission splits. So unlike the other models, you're going to keep 100% of the commissions, but you are also responsible for 100% of the work. So when you're ready for this stage, our institute has a broad variety of launch programs. For new brokerages, they include a full education, ongoing support and mentoring, the tools you need to run your brokerage, the branding, the marketing, the entire lender network to support your deals, and a whole lot more. It's really a brokerage incubator or a brokerage in box platform to help you get out into the market quickly and more profitable. Stage 4 is fund and earn. And this is typically later in the brokerage life cycle, but over time, some brokers are going to move into participating in capital, either syndicating, lending out their own money, or taking yield positions. It's not typically a beginner step, but it's part of why this industry can be such a massive wealth engine as you grow into it. Because as you start placing enough money, you start to say to yourself, well, I know how to find the deals. I know what a good deal looks like. I know what looks risky and what isn't risky. So why don't I just put this all together and become the lender myself and keep all of the profit in the deal? But you don't need to start at the top of the ladder. What you need is to start at the right rung for you. And now that you see that ladder, I'm going to go ahead and talk a bit about how to make this a predictable process with predictable income. And here's your income math. Your monthly income equals your qualified conversations times your close rate times your average commission per close. That's it. Conversations multiplied by your close rate multiplied by your average commission. And here's the beginner mistake. Many new brokers try to scale the first variable, their conversations, before they can reliably and consistently close. They chase leads, they chase traffic, they chase volume. But early on, your fastest path to income is usually going to be improving your close rate. Because if you can close more of the conversations that you are already having, if you're closing more of what you already touch, then you don't need massive lead volume. You don't have to wade your way through a lot of junk to get commissions. And of course, you need to have conversations. Without those, you're not in touch with anyone who needs your help. But the place to focus your energy and your hustle isn't just in having more conversations. The big idea is that you focus that energy and hustle in having more quality conversations, investing in relationship building with qualified borrowers, investing in creating outstanding packages and placing them with well-targeted lenders, and using all of your hustle and your energy to keep the good deals moving quickly and efficiently. And after you've mastered that, the next lever that you need to pull is increasing your average commission amount. That's the next step, but not going back to more conversations. Because at the Institute, we spend a lifetime coaching brokers on how to deal with their capacity constraints. Once you're out and into the market and you've established a few good referral partnerships, it's quite common to have more deal opportunities coming in than you have time in your day to work. So if you go back to our money-making equation, income equals conversations multiplied by closing rate multiplied by average commission. At this point, you don't want to focus on increasing conversations. You already have those flowing in and you often are overwhelmed by them. So if you're feeling stuck on time, more of the same type of opportunities isn't going to help. Instead, you focus on increasing your average commission per deal. If you increase deal size, deal amount, the size of the loan that you're willing to work on, you will be working your way steadily upstream in the market. And with larger loans come larger commissions. And this is how brokers go from sporadic income into reliable income and to massive income. So next, let's talk through the 3 different skill blocks that you need in order to start making money as a beginner. so that you know what to learn, what to ignore, and how you can avoid the "I'm busy but broke" trap in this industry. So let's make it practical. We're going to walk through a 30-day starter plan that gets deals moving, even if your network is small, so that you can start creating momentum without a whole lot of chaos. In week 1, you want to choose your entry stage and pick a lane. Decide which rung on that ladder you're going to start on. Is it going to be referral only? That's the low touch model where you do an initial discovery and then connect that borrower with a trusted capital provider? Or is it going to be model 2, rung 2, where you're teaming up with a brokerage, you're working with them more closely, you're doing more of the work, but you have more support and more of the commission is coming to you? Or is it rung 3, where you're the full broker? You steer the ship and you don't give away any of your earned commission to anyone else. There's no hands in your pie, but pick a rung and then pick a simple lane or a niche to start. Working capital and equipment is often a starting beginner lane because the deals are easier to understand and there's always constant demand. Or maybe you have a network of connections in a particular industry that points you there. But either way, identify where you're going to start working your niche because that's going to influence your subsequent steps. Week 2, you want to build your partner ecosystem and then your intake checklist. So if you're at the referral or partner stage, you identify who you're going to work with to close deals, where those referrals are going. And if you're at the broker stage, you're going to need some lenders. And then you create that simple intake process or checklist to use with your clients. So you're going to be collecting the business basics and the use of funds and the timeline and the revenue and the cash flow snapshots and any collateral information, any credit issues, so that you're identifying the right things and you're not trying to be perfect. Your goal here in this first month is to build a consistent system that you can refine week after week. Start using it, refine, use and refine. In week 3, you want to talk to 20 prospects from your existing network, right? Start warm. Business owners that you already know, real estate investors you know, people in your community, and along the way, don't pitch, right? Come in and ask questions. Get curious. Authentically look to understand what people are working on, what their projects are, what their challenges are. You'll be shocked by how many businesses have capital needs once you start the conversations. And week 4 is submitting, following up, and refining. Your first deals aren't going to be perfect, and that's fine. Your goal is to start the cycle because that's the fastest way to improve. You're moving from discovery to matching to packaging, submitting, you're following up, you're funding. And this is how you make money as a business loan broker. It's not by watching more videos, though we do have lots of great training videos. Please do like and subscribe. But even more important than subscribing is doing your reps out in the real world, seeking out those conversations so that you can learn about what others are working on. If you do that, you're going to find opportunities. And when they come up, just let them know that you'd be happy to help out. So if you've been looking for a business model with real upside, low overhead, high demand, this is one of the cleanest opportunities in the finance sector. You're not taking any balance sheet risk or big investments. You're creating outcomes. You're helping businesses to survive, to grow. You're helping them to expand by gaining them the right capital at the right time. And along the way, you're getting paid when each deal funds. You want to build the process, build the relationships, and build the skill. So get out there, give big to your clients and your lenders, and let's make this world a better place together.